Is got. Oh my, it is a Stantonian home run. A 3-run blast into the right center field seats.
That's as exciting as I think I've ever seen Giancarlo Stanton.
Tatum, little shake and bake. High floater goes there for Jason Tatum.
Hand off to Walker. Cuts back outside to the 10. Stiff arms a man to the 5. He is in! Touchdown! Seahawks!
This is The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com and sponsored by Jock Market. Make real money every second of the game.
The Playbook is live here on Bettor Sports Network, powered by FantasyAlarm.com. My name is Justin Fensterman. His name is Adam Ronis. In case you can't recognize Adam Ronis here, I don't think I've ever seen him in a hat before in 3 years of us working together, let alone 12 years of me knowing the guy. What's going on, Ron? How you doing?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm not someone that wears hats very often. I think they look terrible on me. So I usually just wear a hat when I play softball. That's pretty much it. But I am a little disgusted to the start of the show, hearing that Yankee highlight, specifically Susan Waldman. And I see Susan was left in on purpose by our producers.
Roger Clemens, oh my God. Come on. You don't like Susan? You don't love her voice? The voice of an angel right there.
No, I just hope the Yankees lose this series.
We know, Rome. We know you're not rooting for the Yankees here in the ALCS. The NLCS going on right now. I thought I just saw Philly.
Phillies. Harper got on, and then Castellanos on I think it was 0-2 single to right. So they have first and second with no one out, with Alec Boehm at the plate. So
hasn't Snell not been good against Philadelphia?
Yeah, he pitched 9 innings this year, and I think allowed 7 runs, but I don't remember when those starts came because he was really good in the second half. But as I said yesterday, he has a tendency at times to lose the strike zone. Walks become an issue. You saw it against the Mets, and the Mets just really couldn't take advantage of it. I think he walked 6 guys against the Mets, and I think when he left, it was 2-2. I believe the home run that Alonso had, I think, came off Martinez, if I'm not mistaken. But, yeah, the Mets just couldn't take advantage of Snell. And, oh, boy, here we go. Alec Boehm with a hit. And that's going to score a run. Already the Phillies up 1-0 in first and third. And a bad throw, puts the runner at second and third. Unbelievable. Man, my friend was saying yesterday.
Hang on a second. Sound from the Adam Ronis radio broadcast network right there, by the way. I have to make sure I attribute all play-by-play.
Oh, my bad. I'm going to get in trouble again because I'm always ahead and I hear about it. I hope Matt Deutsch is not here.
It's okay. You know what? I talked Matt Deutsch's ear off for about 18 minutes before, so I'm sure he's probably sick of me for the day, just like everyone's sick of me every day. But it's
I mean, look, this sucks. I am not rooting for the Phillies, obviously, as a Mets fan, and I thought the Padres would win this series. I will say this though, where the Phillies do have the advantage is the 2 pitchers here in game 1 and 2 with Wheeler and Nola. My concern is games 3 and 4 and the Phillies bullpen. I know they got it done yesterday, but you saw Alvarado lose command of the strike zone. He was able to get out of it. And of course, Boehm with the error, and their defense, especially more in the first half of the year, was a problem. So, but still, if you're the Padres, can't afford to go down 2-0 going back to Philly for, isn't it 3 straight? I think, isn't it 2-3-2? I believe the format now in this round.
That's changed because I know the World Series is 2-3-2.
Is the NLCS 2-3-2?
I don't think the championship series are 2-3-2. I think it's 2-2-1-1-1. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know about that because there's no travel.
Interesting.
It's 3, 4, and 5.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Dang. I thought that the LCS series were 2-2.
Nah, especially I think part of it is too, you're trying to fit in the whole playoffs. I mean, we're already going into November, and then you had the wild card series, so less travel involved. So, I mean, look, if the Padres go down 2-0, I don't think they're done because I think they have the pitching advantage in games 3. It'll be Musgrove. I don't know if they named Suarez the starter yet, and I don't know if the Phillies going to go to Syndergaard in game 4. And we saw he didn't even pitch that much. I would he went 3 innings in that one. So, and the bullpen. So I don't think it would be over. Obviously, it's still early in this game, but Snell already in trouble here with second and third, no out, and already down 1-0. And the Padres yet to hit. They have 1 hit yesterday. They do have 1 hit so far. Machado with a double. So they kind of need to wake up. But It would be crazy if the Phillies, as the 6th seed with 87 wins, make the World Series and finish 14 games behind the 2 teams in the NL East. We'll get to that later on.
We are, because you know why? You can tell Ronas is still bitter. He's pissed because it's Wednesday. We talk about what we're pissed about. And just when you think, for me, that I'll tease it like this, I can't run into any more issues on free fantasy sites, something else pops up out of nowhere that I've never experienced before that I think is freaking stupid. I wish we could just do pissed right now, because this caused me about 25 minutes of stress the other night, and it sucked. But you know what doesn't suck? Getting to talk with you on the Bettor Sports Network app. You can chat with us. Let us know what's going on. Fantasy football trades, big part of the season now. Trades, evaluating your team. You've seen what you've gotten from your roster through the first 6 weeks. And with week 7 getting ready to start, let us know what players you're thinking of adding and dropping. For those that haven't had waivers processed yet, those that are thinking of wagering for the weekend. And then also, Ron, I'm just so excited. 12 NBA games tonight, man. I'm ready for the NBA. I'm ready for a large slate. We got another large slate on Friday. We're going to be doing a lot of NBA coverage, little DFS from my end, also wagering, but also from the Roan man side, wagering from there. We'll talk props. We'll talk some of the spreads. And speaking of spreads, we'll get into that as well for the NFL. A lot going on. And like I said, we'll keep you up to date with what's going on with the MLB, the ALCS getting ready to start a little bit later on. But Ron, we've heard highlights from basketball. We heard highlights from baseball, football. This is what it's all about here on the Playbook. So overall, before we talk about what's going on in the NFL, reaction to night 1 of the NBA season. We were talking about that Embiid prop, the 10.5 boards there was a little juiced up. And what happened? Al Horford got into foul trouble a little bit early on. And it just shows, man, I mean, with the Celtics, they could score. And Jason Tatum was just a phenomenal performance. But at the same time, with this Celtics team, they're going to be bleeding a little bit when it comes to front court defense. And good front courts are going to be able to take advantage of them in the early going of the season.
Yeah, I also mentioned the Embiid over 3.5 assists, and that was plus 135. That cashed with 5 assists. I did like Philly in the game, and they did not come through. They turned it over so much. Embiid, too. He's just sloppy with the ball sometimes, tries to do too much. 6 turnovers in this game. So, oh, my God. Are you kidding me? Wow.
Tell us.
The sun strikes. Fly ball to right field. Would have been a sac fly, but Juan Soto lost it in the sun. It drops in. 2nd and 3rd with 1 out, 2-0. So it would have been a sac fly, man on 3rd with 2 outs. Instead, falls in. As Soto points to the sun. Obviously, we know you lost it. Reaction line.
Still, no excuse. You're a professional ball player, and it's going to happen. We know that. It's
not. Trust me, I've been there. That is the worst feeling in the world, man.
Can't you utilize the opening of your glove though to block some of it out?
No, man. I mean, it looked like he had it if you watch it, and then the last second he lost it. I mean, again, if you haven't been, remember too, this is on the West Coast. It is 2 p.m. Eastern there, 2:08 Pacific time there now. You know what I'm saying? So
shadow season.
That sun is up. Yeah, man, that sun directly in his eye. There's no clouds. I mean, yes, did you get it? Yeah, but I saw even in the first inning, Grisham had a little issue on a pop-up. He was able to recover and catch it, but he has the sunglasses on. You can't say, oh, he had them on his hat. Those are the worst, right? You have sunglasses and you have it on your hat. Well, what's the point of having them if they're on your damn hat? So
right,
just a tough break. You know what? And when you see things like that, you're like, maybe it's just the Phillies' year.
And I'll say this, even the polarized sunglasses too. Like I know Ray-Bans a few years ago came out with polarized sunglasses that should give you further protection from the sun. It's all BS. It doesn't give you further protection from the sun. I don't know if you've ever noticed a difference if you had polarized sunglasses, but to me, it never showed a difference. And it was just a premium you were paying on glasses.
Yeah, you would know better than me on that. I really didn't have that, so I don't know.
Yes,
like I said, I don't even use sunglasses now. I would be screwed in there. I wouldn't. But if I was a professional player, I'd be like, all right.
Well, you're a semi-professional softball player. You don't.
I mean, look, I've been fortunate that I haven't, at least in the last year or two, I haven't been burned by the sun. I'm sure it's gonna. Now that I say it, like my first game, the sun will be in my eyes. I'm like, all right, guys.
Would you invest in prescription sunglasses?
Yeah, that's next.
I love that. That's next. What a tease right there.
Well, I used to have the clip-ons. The shades. You just clip on but. For these, they didn't have them, so
I got to work on that. My grandpa used to have that too. He used to have the clip-ons, and then he had another pair of glasses that always broke in the middle. It was like they came apart in the middle, and he'd like wear it like a necklace, the glasses a little bit as well. So just funny with the glasses, sunglasses, and yes, not good right there if you're Juan Soto, who had sunglasses on but ran too far back. The ball lands about a foot in front of him. Let's talk a little bit about Marty. Marty's asking us in the comment section, how am I doing in the host league? I'll tell you, Marty, I'm doing horribly in the host league, okay? I'm doing horribly in the host fantasy football league. I can barely win games. I don't know what to do with the roster. Here's a question, Rome. You're me. You have a really crappy team in the host league for SiriusXM, and you have Cam Akers on your team. You just drop the guy at this point, and that's it? I mean, I don't know what to do. I really don't know what to do with him.
I mean, again, it depends. That leaves short bench, only 6. So, you're in a position you can't worry about week 10.
No.
For you, it's this week. So,
yeah.
It depends. If especially this is a tough bye week. I mean, I'm screwed this week. You probably wish you were playing me. I have Diggs on bye. I have Hollywood Brown hurt. He's definitely out. I don't know if Bateman's going to play. My kicker, I replaced my kicker, not a big deal. And I thought I have someone else, but yeah, it's a rough week. And then I have leagues where the buys are really crushing me. And then I got guys like DJ Chark. I don't know if he's going to play. And I had him in my lineup. I'm like, oh, great. Now, am I going to have to play Chase Edmonds? I don't want to do that. But yeah, there's some rough bye weeks this week where it's going to be tough. As
I'm playing someone in one of my leagues, Ron, that they're going to have to, and they clearly didn't do waivers. They're projected to get about 40 points, and I don't know if they're going to look at their team before tomorrow night.
They probably will.
But I'll say this, man. Starting 2 flexes, 3 wideouts, 2 flex, not like it matters anyway for this, but this guy's going to have to start both Mostert and Edmonds against me in this league at this point. That's how sucky this has become for this bye week, man. But yes, so thank you, Marty, for asking. I'm doing great in that host league, defending my title, making myself look like a real champ. Ugh, I feel like I'm like the Marlins or something. You win the World Series, and then all the pieces just disappear, and then you're back to being a bottom feeder. That's how, except for me, this wasn't a holdover or anything like that. I'm not mad or anything like that. I'm not mad at all. I'm pretty pissed. But still, when it comes to that league,
shouldn't have invited me in.
It had nothing to do with you. Just the team I comprise myself of has been horrible. Horrible. This team is terrible.
Well, I'm glad you took Najee Harris.
Yeah, thank you. I did take Najee Harris, okay? And I get a little dinky touchdown, and I'm feeling like it's like Christmas. I don't even celebrate.
I just wish Barkley would have fell to me in round 2. Then I would have had Diggs Barkley. That was my ideal, and he went 1 pick before me, and then I had to get Kamara, who I don't even think he scored a touchdown this year. Yes. Right? Has Kamara not scored a touchdown this year? I think that's right. Let me double check that. Yeah. But I don't think he scored a touchdown.
I don't need a pep talk. Marty, I don't give up on leagues. I don't care. I could be in last place in this league, and I'm still setting my
now. Every single
week.
He is right now.
Yes. So I will remain in last place in this freaking
league. Touchdowns for Kamara this year for my second round pick. That's good.
Yeah, that's great, Roan. That's great.
I really wanted. I can't believe Barkley went 1 pick before me. But I know if I started Barkley in round 1, Diggs would never make it back. So I thought the better play was, okay, who is more likely to make it back? And I was kind of close, but he went 1 pick before me.
Just disappointing, man. I have this team. And for those that want to know, I mean, we bring up this team from time to time. And I don't care. I'm going to have some leagues where I suck at. Roan, I'm sure that you have some leagues where you
look, I don't care how good you are. And I've heard really good players that have bad teams this year because the offense is down and there's been so many things that have been unpredictable. So many situations where it's like, how is this happening? And, offense is way down. So it impacts you in fantasy. And we've seen if you have the philosophy to wait on quarterbacks, you're struggling this year. I mean, a lot of these quarterbacks outside of the top few are doing nothing or are inconsistent from week to week. And that's been a big problem. I mean, we even talked about it yesterday. Like Lamar Jackson has had now 3 subpar weeks. After the first 3 weeks, you feel great at having him. Josh Allen's giving you a huge advantage, and most people don't draft Josh Allen. And it turns out he was a great pick in round 3 or round 4. Jalen Hurts been great. But, those middle quarterbacks, the Carrs, the Cousins, they all suck. They're not giving you what you want on a week-to-week basis.
No. And so on this team, just for everybody to know, here's what I've been dealing with. I've been dealing with the Russell Wilson experience, which is awful. Which even worse, even though he's been all right, Cortland Sutton. So I had them locked in together. Then Najee Harris, Raheem Mostert, who I ended up drafting late. CeeDee Lamb, obviously dealing with the quarterback injury. And also
he's been fine, though. He's actually been fine.
He's fine. Elijah Moore, who hasn't been fine. And then I had originally Cole Kmet. Then I went to Logan Thomas, failed there. David Njoku. I'm on my first tight end in this league.
Guy.
I had to pick up Alec Pierce in this league. I actually, because of the Wilson situation, I had to pick up Matt Ryan, too, in this league. I picked up Jamal Williams. He had the big week or two, and that's about it. Cam Akers has done absolutely nothing, and he's not even going to play on the team anymore. Dameon Pierce was a good draft pick, but first week wasn't great, but then he was fine. And then I handcuffed Najee Harris with Jalen Warren. Robert Woods. When I start him, he puts up 5 points. When I don't start him, he puts up double digits. And unfortunately, with this situation, wasting a roster spot up until now, DeAndre Hopkins, who I'm just getting back with a 1-5 record. I'm not mad.
Well, the Harris pick was bad. The Akers pick was bad. I mean, I told you at the time. I like the Sutton pick. I would have taken Sutton had he made it back to me. So, yeah. I mean, I'm doing pretty well in that league.
Good for you. You're doing
but I'm hurting right now. I mean, I'm up there. I think I have the second most points, and I'm 4-2, and I've had a lot of points against me. But this week is not looking great for me. And losing Hollywood Brown now for at least a month, and that's probably more. They're saying at least a month, which means it's going to be more. I'm holding on to him for now, but I just don't know how much longer. I'm hoping Bateman did practice today. I really need him back this week. Otherwise, I'm going to have to start.
No. Lamar Jackson really needs him back. Okay.
Oh yeah. Well, I need Bateman too for the teams that have Bateman. So those two would help. Because I kind of need that with the situation I'm dealing with this week. And Henderson on bye, Diggs on bye. So, but a lot of other teams are dealing with it as well.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate. And Eston, I thank you very much for feeling my pain there. Sometimes you just don't draft a good team. Like I say, it's very hard to make trades in fantasy football. To fix this, making multiple trades. I was offered one offer. I forgot even what it was. I'm trying to even remember what it was, but I didn't accept it. And it's one of those situations where just a bad ingredients that I have to this team. And, I'm not going to stop setting my lineup. I'm not going to stop picking up players. I'm not at this point. I don't want to embarrass myself and just have one win all year and just working for the next win at this point, Rowan. I'm not even thinking 3 weeks down the road.
All right. I was going to bring some up now, and get your opinion on it, but I'm going to hold it for the anger because it angers me and I think it needs to be changed and discussed. So I'll hold that. See, I'm a professional. The good tease. You got to wait around.
Wow. I'm even wondering. You and I talk a lot. But
I got to write these things down. I forget.
What, that good teases right there?
No, I'm good at teases. I'm saying I got to remember what I wanted to talk about. Because
what are you better at? Radio or broadcast teases or being a tease in a relationship-like situation?
Probably relationship, but it depends what it is. But I mean, I can't get specific on here with what I'm talking about, but
please don't.
Probably get the idea.
I'm sorry. Don't, please. I'm begging you here. Okay. Stop, Ronis, okay? Is it getting hot in here? Is it just my red shirt? Seriously. You wore red for the second day in a row, too. Never happens. So, yeah, maybe I'll just make it for the rest of the week there. I can only have so many red shirts. So I wore that Iverson jersey. It's, by the way, speaking of red, I saw that picture of that Rodman jersey. Tonight on Bettor Sports Live, Rick Kamla, Lisa Ann, they're going to be giving away that Dennis Rodman autographed jersey. It's awesome. It's red. Although I'll say this, I have a Dennis Rodman jersey, and it's actually the black with red pinstripes. I always like that better for Rodman than the red jersey. Do you have an opinion on this, or you don't care?
No.
Hey, I appreciate your honesty right now.
I just, any jersey that's white, I hate.
Yes, I hear you, man. I get what you're saying. I've always gotten the blue jersey. I think I own one white Knicks jersey, and that's it. I have one white Jets jersey that I have not worn because this guy's been kind of under fire, let's just say. Brett Favre. That's the one white Jets jersey I've ever had. Brett Favre, the guy who was there for what seemed to be a half a season. Although I will say this.
You bought a Brett Favre?
I didn't buy it. It was given to me as a gift.
No. Don't do it again, Juan. All right, he didn't lose this one in this side, but it's 4-0 going to the bottom of the second. Jeez, man.
Sound courtesy of the Adam Ronis radio broadcast feed right there on you get via the playbook on Bettor Sports Network. Let's start talking injuries here. We're seeing your comments. Hello, everybody. Marty and Essen, definitely a raw.
Come on, Essen. It's not bad luck. Justin drafted a crappy team. Come on. 2 of his first 3 picks were garbage.
Well, I didn't.
Harris was a bad pick.
I didn't.
And Akers was a bad pick.
Yeah, now
I told you
say
it was
that. You're right, but
What?
back then, I didn't think so. Back then, I was like, "Why is this guy falling to the end of the first round?"
You found out.
I did find out.
You got to hold in the bag of crap.
You know, God, you know what? I'm just gonna stop talking and say he's Adam Ronis. I'm Justin Fenster. We'll take your comment. We'll talk NBA here. That'll make me a little bit more cheery, and then we'll bring down the mood again and get a little bit pissed. We haven't done this in a bit. Hot route, and we're going to talk about, Ron, some of your rankings when it comes to your weekly NFL player rankings, which is on fantasyalarm.com, constantly being updated. We'll go over some players who've been moving up and down, and I see someone on Jock Market for about $2 if you want to buy some shares of this player. Few of his receivers, his cohorts, are not going to be playing in that respective game. What receiver is that? We will talk about the value on Jock Market, as the playbook is sponsored by Jock Market, and we're powered by fantasyalarm.com. He's Adam Ronis. Give him a follow on Twitter at Adam Ronis. I'm Justin Fensterman. Give me a follow at Fensty Sports. This is the playbook here on Bettor Sports Network.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis is sponsored by Jock Market. The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis is sponsored by Jock Market. Make real money every hour, every minute, every second of every game.
For those that love the stock market, it's a very interesting way on how to include essentially fantasy sports and statistics when it comes to investing into players. We say it all the time that we have shares of players. Well, you legitimately buy shares when you download the Jock Market app. And when you buy shares of a player, like for instance, I'm seeing in the most recent one, Cooper Kupp, he's about $10.44 right now. If you wanted to buy a share, you buy a share of a player, and there's an IPO time frame that you buy the shares on the players on Sunday. You buy them at the IPO. Let's say you wanted 8 shares of Cooper Kupp, and you want to try to invest in the players, find the best values because players are at different dollar values. But what happens is those IPO values actually change. So where you're thinking you're getting in on maybe the ground floor, and I'm buying shares of Cooper Kupp, legit shares of Cooper Kupp, that can end up paying about $25 a share back in return if Cooper Kupp is the top fantasy scorer. So it's legitimately the stock market, and then there's even trading involved. Ronis, I don't know if back when maybe you were in grade school, they had something in a business class about you just pretending to play the stock market, keeping track of the money. But this kind of reminds me of that, because instead of fantasy shares, you're actually buying stock market shares against other users on the Jock Market app.
Yeah, definitely interesting, and something that you need to be sharp about and trying to find that value. But you know that other people are probably going to see the same thing you are. The price is going to go up. So that's the key here, is getting it at the right price.
Let's take Justin Jefferson, for instance. You're not building a GPP lineup here. You're investing in the player. There's no lineups here. So someone like Justin Jefferson at 771, he's coming off of 2 monster performances, going up against the Dolphins here. This could be another big matchup. That price, 771, I don't think is going to stay that way. So you can buy the shares. You can buy 5 or 6 shares at $7.71. But then you better be ready to get a notification that someone just upped the value on Justin Jefferson, and you have to decide whether or not you're reinvesting. So that is Jock Market. Download the Jock Market app to get involved. You love the stock market. I mean, who does at this point with how much it's been down in recent months? But you love playing the stock market. You love sports and football. Boom. This is how you do it.
We'd like to thank Jock Market for sponsoring the Playbook with Fensty and Ronis. Jock Market. Make real money every second of the game. We'd like to thank Jock Market for sponsoring the Playbook with Fensty and Ronis. Jock Market. Make real money every second of the game.
Hot route. Red 7, red 7, red 7. Gone.
What?
Red 7.
I don't know what red 7 means.
Hot route.
I don't. What is hot route?
Hot Routes are hot takes for the upcoming week of the NFL season from Fensty and Ronis.
That's what we call a sack lunch. Nom, 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 nom.
Let's get back to the playbook on the Bettor Sports Network.
Speaking of hot route, hot bats all of a sudden in San Diego for the Padres here. What, Rome? Back-to-back home runs we just got here from Brandon Drury and Josh Bell. Now 4-2. That lead sliced in half by San Diego.
Yeah, much needed. Looking at the exit velocities on all the Phillies at bats, they were really low. Just really some bad luck for Snell there in that inning. And Padres responded in a big way, especially off Aaron Nola with back-to-back home runs. So much needed for the Padres. They need to see this offense come to life here, and especially to cut that 4-run deficit already to two batters in. Big deal. So hopefully we get a game here.
Yep. So we'll keep you up to date with that. We'll also talk a little bit about what's upcoming in the ALCS. But you're talking about a player, and at least we know now, and we were told this over the last couple of days. We got the injury report here, or at least part of it, for the Saints heading into Thursday Night Football. And it's going to be no Michael Thomas, no Jarvis Landry, no Marshawn Lattimore, which is very interesting, no Troutman as well. But Chris Olave, Roan, he is going to be active. And I saw a certain Olave sneak into the top 15 of your receiver rankings.
Yeah, he's got to be there right now. We've seen when he's been on the field how great he has been. And with those guys out, he's going to command a lot of targets. I will say this, though. Outside of week one, the Cardinals defense has done a pretty good job. And the Saints haven't announced the starting quarterback. You would think it would be Dalton, but you never know. Maybe they go with Taysom Hill here. But Olave has just been heavily targeted. The last game he left early with a concussion. He had 6 targets in that game, 4 for 54 and a touchdown. The game in London against Minnesota, he looked really good in that game. 7 targets, 4 for 67 and a touchdown. Week before, 9 for 147 on 13 targets. Week before, 13 targets, 5 for 80. So he's been balling out. So we got a lot of top receivers on bye. But I've had Olave in the top 15, top 20 when he's been healthy. Moves up just a little bit higher this week with no Landry, no Thomas, and some of the injuries. I mean, he should get double-digit targets this week.
We talk a lot about Jock Market, one of our sponsors here of the Playbook, because they offer daily markets for sports that let you buy and sell these shares of athletes. Different from DFS, you're buying and selling the shares with other users for real money, and each share gets you a guaranteed payout at the end of the night of respective contests. And you can download that Jock Market right now. There's a link in the app that you can click and sign up for free to check it out. And then obviously you're putting in money. It's like the stock market. You download now using the promo code Playbook to receive a 100% deposit match up to $100. Your first market will also be risk-free with losses refunded up to $100. Download the Jock Market app right now using promo code Playbook. It's just another way for all of those that are big business and stock market, Wall Street fans, you Gordon Geckos out there. This is a way that you could combine sports and fantasy with the stocks, shares, everything that you can want with that. And one of the prices that I noticed here with Chris Olave, it's at 204 right now. So how it would work is you have Chris Olave. If you wanted to buy the shares for Chris Olave, you can. There's going to be a recommendation on what you should spend so you don't get outbid on those shares, especially during the IPO portion before all of a sudden the shares are distributed once the IPO portion is over. For Chris Olave, he's at 204 right now. This is someone, again, who should have open targets all night in his game. And if you want to buy some shares, that's great. However, somebody else can outbid you for those shares. And that's why you have to pay attention, kind of like the stock market too, where you just have to be paying attention as there's a lot of variable change. And just like that, your shares, and you could be thinking you're sitting pretty, you're going to win some money. Olave's going to get you a 7 for 110 and a score, something like that. You're going to get a nice return. You got to check to see if you still have those shares. Because if you have those shares, then yeah, you're going to cash, but you could be outbid for those shares, and that's not good. And that's where the bidding price goes up and up. So when you're on the Jock Market app and you want to buy and invest in on a player, make sure that you're buying them at a share at a price that's a little bit more than just 50 cents on the dollar ahead of what they currently are. Olave, the last I checked, at 204 right there, Rhoda. It's a lot of strategy because you could think you have a great value, and all of a sudden someone undercuts you, buys the shares, and all of a sudden you're SOL.
Yeah, and that could happen with a guy that is low priced, and then everyone else sees the same thing. And like a guy like Olave, I think that's a good example too.
Yes, let's get to some of your comments because we are talking about week 7 and getting through those bye weeks here in Essen. I know you had a question before about your wide receivers here. And Rhoda, I don't know if we've seen any update regarding Keenan Allen. I know that there was optimism, but I throw all those reports to the side until I see something hard because he's got Allen and Lockett, and then he needs one from Rondale Moore, Jerry Jeudy, Wan'Dale Robinson, who is someone that I actually spent about $9 on in a couple of my leagues in order to be able to get him, and Curtis Samuel as well. I mean, does anyone stand out from you from that group?
It sounds like Allen might play. I think they said they expected him to practice. I didn't put him in the rankings just yet, but my guess is he's going to play. Out of the other guys, I mean, they're all kind of unappealing. But I think I have Samuel ranked the highest. I don't feel great about it. I don't know. I don't think his value is going to change that much with Heineke in there. Heineke actually had kind of similar numbers to Wentz last year. So, I mean, I do like Robinson. The risk with him is that he already played limited snaps last week. And yes, he was targeted frequently when he was out there, but I can't rank him that high as those guys yet, even though I am playing him in a few leagues. But probably Samuel is the best option there. And, you know, he still gets some potential carries as well. I mean, Jeudy, I can't trust at this point. Russell Wilson banged up with the hamstring injury, so we'll see about that.
If he needs a flex option, let's just say he needs another one. I'm fine if he goes Rondale Moore there, but again, you have a clock now, a real clock to make that decision here, being that this game is upcoming. So you just got to be careful with that, and you have to know about what's going on with Keenan Allen and have a surefire backup plan in case all else fails and you don't use Rondale Moore. Because
I would not use Rondale Moore. I would wait on the other guys.
Okay, then from the next one here, Philly Mack. Oh, we love Philly Mack here. Philly Mack's trying to figure out, oh, wow, already trying to fill the quarterback void for next week. He's got some quarterbacks available here. Saw Jared Goff on his list. Geno Smith. This is actually, we're looking a little bit ahead here. But some of the guys on his wire include Matt Ryan. Geno actually on his wire, which is very interesting. Kind of surprising. You really think that Geno Smith, even in shallow formats, is still on the wire?
No, generally no, but I guess Philly Mack plays with a bunch of kids. So
maybe he does.
Probably Geno Smith. That's a revenge game against the Giants.
God, you gotta stop, man. Because then I get convinced. You hook me every single time.
Do you know the big revenge game this week?
What is it?
Evan Engram against the Giants.
Great. Amazing. And you're going to subscribe to that or not? Have you selectively decided?
Yeah. I mean, they let him go.
So, but you don't believe you.
Philly Mack. Oh, wait. Hold up. Philly Mack wants to talk about the Eagles. First of all, and if you listen to this show, and I know you do a lot, I said before the year, I thought the Eagles were the best team in the NFC and the NFC East. I said they would win the division. I said last week the Eagles were going to win the game. In fact, I took them in a contest where I have to pick 5 games a week. I took the Eagles -4.5, and I took the Eagles in my pool where I pick every game against the spread. And as a Cowboys fan, I'm not really upset at that game because I know the Eagles are better right now. And with Cooper Rush, I knew he was going to be forced to throw and would make mistakes, and he did. So there's nothing to say right now, but let's see what happens when the Cowboys have Dak Prescott at quarterback and we play Philly again. But Philly clearly is the best team. So you want to hear me say it again? I'm objective. I'm not one of these fans who acts like, oh, my team is great. I tell it how it is.
Yep.
And the Eagles are the better team right now. But let's see what happens when we get
I thought you were victory lapping for a second. That you invented the Eagles. You said they would represent the NFC.
But I did. But Dallas has also performed a lot better than I thought defensively. I knew the defense was good, but I didn't think it was this good.
Bro, you gave up on the season.
I did after week 1.
You came in
because they didn't do anything this offseason. They lost so many guys. They didn't change the receiving core. Dak went down. They had injuries on the offensive line, so I was concerned. And you know what? But the one thing I did say is there's not a lot of good teams in the NFC. That gave me some hope. And now seeing it even more, my goodness, they have a shot because these teams suck.
It's almost disappointing if they don't. From what we've seen now, things change. it's almost a disappointing see if they don't make it at this time. You think
playoffs?
Well, no, Super Bowl.
Who? Oh, Philly.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean,
They just look different than just about they look like a step ahead of just about every other NFC team at this point.
To be fair, though, they really haven't played anyone great. But as I said, there's no good teams in the NFL, in my opinion. And their schedule doesn't even get that more difficult. I mean, I know the Eagles say, well, we beat Minnesota. They're 5-1. Yeah, Minnesota's not that good, in my opinion.
I thought that game opened my eyes.
They destroyed them, though. Minnesota wasn't even competitive. The Lions did come back on them in week 1. I know they fell behind Jacksonville 14-0 and won.
But I wasn't worried about that. Hang on. You know what? It's funny. I remember that. I was a little surprised, but I wasn't worried about them. It was so early.
No, I know. Me too.
And when you have a complete team like them, and after what I saw, this was shortly after the week 1 disaster where Jacksonville was covering against Washington. And then that was it. Washington then pulls ahead and Jacksonville stalls. So even when Jacksonville went up early in that game, I had all the faith in the world the Eagles were going to come back.
And here's the problem with the Eagles. We're not going to really know how good they are. They're going to get to the playoffs. They're going to have a great record. Look at this schedule, man. After their bye, Steelers, Texans, Washington, Indianapolis, Green Bay at home, Tennessee, the Giants, the Bears, the Cowboys, the Saints, and the Giants. Where is the test in there? Outside of Dallas, right? And maybe the Giants. I mean, again, if you want to say the Giants for real, but man, we're not going to know. Philly's going to roll into playoffs, and we're going to be like, okay, how good are they? Where's the test in there? Dallas and maybe the Giants. That's it. So
yeah,
they're going to be a team that everyone is going to be on. And then it's okay, but who is the test? I still think San Francisco is good. If they have I know they got injuries on defense. We're both out there and they have the experience. They got a lot of weapons on. So I still think they're good.
Does Tampa get it together?
No.
That's what I don't think so.
They'll be better, but I don't think they're a Super Bowl contender.
Now, I honestly, dude, we talked about this with Najee and the poor offensive line and how much it's impacted him. I really do think that losing Jensen and Stinney just really crushed Brady.
That's part of it, but there's no excuse for losing to Pittsburgh.
Oh, agree with you.
Now, if they lose to Carolina this week, whoa. But yeah, Philly Mac, you are right. Like I said, I don't think there's good teams in the NFL right now. So yes, the Bills, Chiefs, I put the Ravens in there as a potential test, but yeah, maybe the Chargers. They would always find a way to keep it close as they do. But yeah, there's just not a lot of good teams at this point. So
the Giants are the Giants for real. That is one of the toughest questions to answer. I want to say yes. But
I don't think so. But they keep, getting the job done every single week. Again, I think it's a product of they're very well coached and they just run the ball well and just kind of hang in games. And they've figured out a way to come back against teams. But I don't see them as a contender to win an NFC championship. And maybe I'll be proven wrong. But again, the Packers win was good, but now we're all like, oh, what's wrong with the Packers? They stink, right? Because they lost to the Jets. And the Ravens game, we've seen the Ravens now blow 3 leads in the fourth quarter. Right. So, but I mean, those are 2 good wins. Can't take that away because no one expected them to win those games, and they did. So,
here's an interesting scenario.
I still think it's I just think there's a lot of bad teams right now in the NFL, or mediocre, and parity is an all-time high.
Hey, Ross, I'm really glad you brought this up because I feel like a lot of us think about this, but we don't talk about it enough. Starting a quarterback who is throwing to your opponent's wide receiver, for instance, and he gives the example.
It means nothing, bro. That is so overrated.
You got to play your game.
Who cares? Don't worry about what your opponent has. You're gonna really take the lesser quarterback. So what happens when your quarterback throws that quarterback who you bench those 4 touchdowns to Davante Adams, who has 2?
Right.
You bench the guy for some lesser one. Right. I don't worry about that at all.
No, and if anything, if with the way that A. Ross is asking it too, it's almost like with his example of Derek Carr. He has Derek Carr, and then Davante Adams is on his opponent's roster. Well, you could think about it like you're canceling out Davante Adams, makes it even more appealing to start Carr, because he was saying his other option he could go with is Geno. So
well, I would go with Geno.
You might have just
over
ruined
Carr.
A. Ross's day right there.
but no, the point he was asking is
Right.
the strategy question. If I had Carr ranked above Geno, I wouldn't take him out because my opponent had Adams. That's my whole point. But I would play Geno.
You got to play your game, though, A. Ross. You have to. And for everybody else out there, we all think about it, but we can't. You only have so much that's under your control. And it's going too crazy with the strategy trying to eliminate here, because like Rowan said, let's say you do end up benching Derek Carr for someone else, and Derek Carr even throws 4 touchdowns, none of them to Devontae Adams. What happened? That sucks. So you got to still play your game anyway, and you can do it.
Is it people still don't trust Geno Smith, or they look at last week and they go, well, he didn't have a good game? I mean,
I'm going to say the latter on that one, because people are very reactionary.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he made some good throws in that game. And as I mentioned, Arizona's been pretty good lately defensively. But that was like one of his worst games of the year. He did rush for 48 yards. He's rushed for 48 and 49 yards in 2 of his last 3. And then he has multiple touchdown passes in 4 of his 6 games. And, you know, the Chargers are coming off a short week, a tough divisional opponent. I know they're worse against the run than against the pass, but Geno's been playing well. And they're underdogs by like 7. So maybe they play for mine, have to pass more. I'd go Geno. I know Carr's got Houston, but that offense has not. I mean, Carr's like doesn't run much, and could throw multiple touchdown passes, sure, but I got Geno ranked higher.
Yeah, Philly Mack is saying he's actually adding Geno, and he wanted to make sure that you knew it was an adult fantasy football league, Roan. So get it right there that Philly Mack is in an adult fantasy football league. It's very shocking, Philly Mack, about Geno Smith being out there. I do not understand that, but good for you. Good for you. What about Roan? I don't know if you still have your rankings up here, but Marty is asking us here, especially after Marty bringing up the host league. Marty, I should just ignore everything that you say.
Is Marty playing me this week? That's what I need to know.
You're going to keep asking that, huh? Dude, you're the analyst. You owe it to him.
No, I don't. I don't know him anything. If I'm going against him, I don't know him crap.
Listen, he pays a lot for this service here on BSN. Okay, Roan?
No, he doesn't.
I know. But I'm trying to stand up
man,
for Marty.
Damn, I have Gallup 1 spot higher.
I
I gotta go Gallup right now. Look, I know there's some risk because we don't know how Dak will look in his first game back. He has been cleared. I just saw a note a little while ago. It said he was a full participant in today's walkthrough type practice, as was Dalton Schultz, which is surprising.
Yeah.
Dak, listed as a full participant. So, I mean, there's a good spot against Detroit. Gallup made a hell of a catch almost. Oh, wait, or was it this week or last week? What he made it? Yeah, no, he made the catch. The Noah Brown was the one that did it in the end zone. That was a hell of a play by Noah Brown, but he was out. But yeah, I mean, Gallup, I think could have a decent game here. Look, DJ Moore, it is just so tough to trust him right now with this quarterback situation. They're going up against Tampa. They said that PJ Walker is going to start again, so I play Gallup.
Yeah, other news that came out very quickly. Marty, by the way, one day, because Ronas asks this every single week when you ask questions, just say yes. I want to see if Ronas will answer the question. Even if you're not playing him, just say yes. Okay? Next week, Marty. That way I want to test it out, a little field test.
No, that week I'll know, and I'll intentionally I'll answer and give him the wrong answer. How about that?
I don't know, man. I think you're going to forget about this conversation even happening
trust me.
Day.
It's all strategic, bro. I got this set up.
You really wouldn't answer his question if he's playing you?
No.
Wow.
Why would I?
That's a good friend right there. Because
I'm a friend.
You're you.
Dude, I don't want to. Why should I help my opponent? What would Kobe Bryant do?
Dude, listen, he's also a big time supporter of the Roan Man, you know? He's a big fan of yours. You think Marty's watching because of me? No.
Then he should take the L when he plays me, out of respect.
Just lay down, give the Roan Man.
Play guys who are hurt and on bye against me. Show some respect to your teacher.
Jeez, look at that. See, Marty. See, I remember, Marty, when you ask about that host league again, who's standing up for you? Who's not?
Marty, remember who makes bad picks in the host league?
No, me. God, I could go on and on. I hate having a 1-5 team. Disgusting, bad taste in my mouth. You probably put him up to it. You probably
I did not. I did not.
Because you want me to get mad and throw me off my game.
Why would I want you to get mad?
Because you think it's funny when I get angry, and then you can make fun of me and top it off even more.
Nah, I'll bring it when everything becomes official. I'll definitely bring it up.
No, are you sure that Marty isn't like a Corey Parson burner account? Because doesn't
No.
Corey Parson brag about being 500 against you in fantasy? Isn't that his
Yeah,
big
he
thing?
does. Wait, you are 1-1 against me? What, in my home league? If it's my home league, yeah. I told you I started off 1-7. I'm 5-7 now. But like I said, and this is good advice for everyone. As I've mentioned many times, you really have to assess your team. Now, I know my league dynamic's a little different because we do double headers and then the top 5 records make it and then points. But I had mentioned to you when I was like 1-5, 1-7, man, I might have to blow this up. I had Barkley and Diggs. I'm like, maybe I just trade Barkley for 3 guys but then I said, okay, where am I in points? And I'm like, I'm not that far behind. I'm not blowing this up. Now the wins come a little bit, 5-7. And I think I'm only like 20, 30 points out of that final playoff spot. In fact, there's a team 9-3. He has 5 more points than me.
Wow.
Like, come on, man. So that's where you have to look at things. And because I think a lot of times people are like, I'm 1-4, 1-5, 2-4. I got to do something drastic. Well, look where you are in points. I also think this is a year where a lot of people are bunched up together. I don't think there's many 6-0 teams, maybe a 5-1, but it feels like teams are bunched up. So you have to look at where you are, what's been going on. Is it a lot of points against? Because I've seen this year has been crazy. I see a lot of teams at the bottom and they have points and it's just points against. And it's happened to me too. So you just have to look at where you are. You can't just go based on record. You have to look at where your team is and then say, because if I would have just said, I'm 1-5, I got to do something, I would have made a stupid trade that would have made my team worse. Not seeing like, hey, I'm right there. It's just, a high scoring team here, a bad week here, a 1-point loss here. So you have to really look at everything. It's not just record. And I always ask that when people ask me questions. Well, what's your record? Where are you in points? Because I think people see the record and they make poor decisions.
They just get too desperate. That's what it is. And that's why you got to be careful. And by the way, even if you are a crap team like me, like I am in the host league, we haven't talked about that enough, you still set your lineups every week. I got an 0-6 team in my league. Then we were talking. I made sure I said, hey, look, I know this is the defending. It's funny. This guy's the defending champion in my home league, and he's 0-6. But I told him, I said, hey, just remember, please still set your lineups anyway. I'm very sensitive to that. I want the league to be fair. We shouldn't have teams in leagues that aren't paying attention, but we know it happens everywhere. It happens in your leagues. Hell, it happens in industry leagues too, right? Didn't you say that there was a team that wasn't paying attention in one of the industry leagues that you're in or something like that? They haven't touched their team or something?
For baseball?
I guess it was baseball or football.
No, there was a football team in the FSGA. Didn't even set their lineup in week 1, so they got a 0.
Wow.
Because I think after the draft, it was RT Sports. So after the draft, it leaves everyone on the bench. So you have to move them to starting lineup. So they must have never went back to put them in. I mean, come on, man. I know the draft was in June, and you have to pay a fee to be in the league too. Not a lot. You know what I'm saying? But come on, man. Like,
so the guy just got a complete 0 for the week.
Yeah, and that really, so the team who played him gets an easy W, man.
Dang, I bet you wish it was you or something.
I do. I mean, I did win that week, but I lost this week 141-140, man.
Did an email go out or something afterwards? Did he?
It doesn't matter. To me, it doesn't matter. What do you mean? Before the season?
Did he send an email saying, hey, this messed up? Or did the commissioner send an email to me hey, you got to set your lineups?
I don't know. First of all, the commissioner doesn't need to send an email out. Hey, set your lineups for week 1. You were in the damn draft. You really need to be notified. I know the draft was in June, but it's FSGA, man. I remember everyone at 13 of the 14 other people set their lineups. We didn't need a reminder. So come on, that's not an excuse.
I do this all the time. I don't know if you like doing this, but right after the draft is over, I like going to my team page and seeing just what my roster looks like on my team page. I always do that every league. I know you have access to the entire roster and lineup when you're in the draft room. It's just, to me, I like seeing it on the My Team page. I always do that. I wait the 2 minutes for all the players to populate. and then I go to the My Team page, and I even fiddle around men, and sometimes it's weeks before the season.
Yeah, no, I mean, I always go back and look. Again, what I do is I write all my leagues down with the waiver wire periods and time. So this way, like I was doing them yesterday, and then I go back to my book. I'm like, okay, check. Oh, wow, I missed that. I usually don't miss them, but just to go back and make sure I don't miss anything, because when, double-digit leagues that you're doing waiver wire, you might forget one, and they're all on different platforms. I've got Sleeper, my fantasy league, CBS, RT Sports, NFFC, and I feel like, and Yahoo. So it's not like they're all in one place. So you can easily forget one. So I just write everything down so this way I don't forget.
Yeah, Marty, yeah, I know it's called roster baiting, okay? I've seen the league. I know how it goes, all right? I mean, I roster bait a lot, all right? Who does it? You should be roster baiting. Absolutely. Are you going to remain fantasy celibate or something like that? No, you're roster baiting. You got to make moves. I got two teams. What?
I have a confession to make.
Okay.
I played the Durant prop. I did the boost. I mean, come on, I had to, right? 20+ points. If this one doesn't hit, I am done. Don't let me do it. If this one doesn't hit, I'm done. Okay.
So it's funny you say that.
Durant, it's plus 100.
It's funny you say that, right?
Why?
So Brian Burns, one of our former producers, actually hit me up, and I was going to bring this up to you a little bit later on. So we're just going to talk about it now. Brian Burns hit me up asking about the boost here. And he's saying, though, that normally when it's a boost he feels it can hit, it maxes you out at $25.
Yeah.
But he got a little afraid because it maxes out at $100, and he thought
on DraftKings?
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's interesting. It's different in every state. Because when I was talking about the Herbert one on Twitter, Keith Irizarry said it's $10. I'm like, it's $25. And then someone else said no.
DraftKings where he is. Yeah.
Yeah, so they changed it. They must change it by state then, because
I think he's a Virginia guy.
Okay. Yeah. For me, it's $25. But the Herbert one for other people was $10. They were saying. I was like, okay, maybe that was New York. So
does that make it more appealing to you when they only max it out to like 10 or 25? That it's probably
they always do that. It's maybe I think the most I've seen is 50, but it's usually 25. Again, to me, it depends on what it is. I've seen ones that I'm like, no way. There was a Conor McGregor one. I was like, nope, not touching it, and he lost. The Herbert one to me was absolutely reasonable. Like we said, in 26 of the last 27, he had at least one touchdown. I mean, one touchdown from Justin Herbert. Again,
but you were still feeling the trap on that, though. You were still very trepidatious over it.
The Josh Allen one, I got screwed because of the weather. Over 1.5 touchdowns against the Ravens. Come on, it's Josh Allen. So. But Kevin Durant.
What about the Travis Kelce one? You didn't play that one, right?
Well, then no, I didn't play that. That one I stayed. That one I stayed away from. But the Durant one, 20 points against the Pelicans on opening night. There shouldn't be a minutes limit. I mean, Kevin Durant could get 8 on the free throw line. Like, I don't know, man.
So you know what my one thing was that I told him? He's like, he asked me like this: can you easily see it happening? When I see something like that, I don't say it's easy. There's one thing. There's just one. We haven't seen Zion Williamson in a while. What happens if Zion Williamson comes in and he's a lockdown defender tonight? I mean, Durant? He should still be able to get there. That's the one from me saying, put all your money on this bet. Because, yeah, absolutely he should be able to score 21 points. But I just wonder if the Zion factor is why this boost exists, because we don't know what we're walking into. We know how he looks. We hear all the hoopla regarding him. James Grande, our colleague at Fantasy Alarm, calling him the MVP every other hour. But still, we don't know what we're walking into.
Okay, Durant. I'm going to go to regular season. His last games, 20, 36, 32, 18 against Houston, where he shot 4 of 13. Must have been a boost night. 55, 26, 41, 27, 23, 35, 37, 38, 23, 19 against Orlando in 30 minutes where they put up 150. So he just
named 2 matchups that he should have easily gotten there. Probably
53, 25. But is this going to be a blowout tonight? I don't see it. I mean, this line has actually moved, and I think the Nets opened up as 4-point favorites. It's now 2.5. So money's coming in on the Pelicans. I don't see this being a blowout. So
I don't think it's going to be a blowout.
The bet, it makes sense to me, man. If he scores 19 or less, I am absolutely through and I will never touch another one, no matter how good it looks.
I don't believe
it. One passing yard for Josh Allen. I'm not touching it.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that. You love the boost. You might be addicted to the boost.
Look, they said they're making it up to me after they screwed me with Herbert.
See, this is that kind of behavior that we got to tell you about there because
how do you not take Durant 20 points or more at plus 100?
Because these boosts are traps for the most.
Okay, so then that means you're saying that it's fixed.
Maybe it is fixed,
It
Roman.
could be.
Right?
I would not be surprised.
Kyler Murray had a passing attempt prop of 37.5. He ends with 37. You think
but that's
different.
Random? That's different.
Seriously, See, Adam Bernard gets it. He gets it. He's quoting you in our group show chat here. Just
so what? Are you comparing me to a drug addict, Adam? Come on.
Yeah, just one more boost. Just one more.
Come
Please,
on, just one more needle. One more needle.
It's okay. It's okay. It's not your fault, Rodas. Come on, just say no, Adam Rodas. Just say no.
No, I don't need my fix. There's other things I can bet, and I do have other bets. But when I see that, look, this is it for real. I'm done. If he doesn't get 20 tonight, man, he's got to get 20.
He's gonna get 20 tonight. And I had told Burns before, yes, but when he asked me, can he easily get through it? No. When I see these boosts, I'm not gonna say easily.
What is there? What, an 85% chance he scores 20 or more tonight?
I'll put it at 85. Yes.
Okay.
I'll put it at 85. That's fine. I mean, look at who they don't have tonight. They still don't have some of their wings and shooters. They don't have Curry. They don't have Harris.
Yeah.
Their front court scoring is going to be a joke. It's going to be Durant and then Phil, what Claxton, Aldridge give you. That's about it. That's all you're getting from the front court. The one other thing, Ben Simmons. Where does he fit into this Nets offense now? I mean, you're thinking that Irving's going to be playing exclusively off the ball this year, right?
Probably. I think, Simmons will have the ball in his hands a lot, facilitating. So, but we know Durant can run the offense. Kyrie can run the offense. So, but
Here's
we know
Simmons about Durant.
Simmons not going to shoot much.
Ben Simmons is driving the lane, right? And he's going to need at least two defenders to collapse on him. There are going to be times that Durant gets very high percentage shots where he's going to be open because someone else is going to screen him out. And then he's going to find an open patch right inside the arc, and he's going to hit a mid-range jumper. So we're making the call right here. We're going in on the boost, Roan, okay? We're going in on the freaking boost, and that's fine. But when someone asked me, can it easily happen? No, because we thought that some of these other boosts were pretty easily going to happen, and they haven't happened, Ronas. So I can't go with saying easily, but I did say to him earlier, you have my blessing to make that bet, and I can't wait for Maryland to be able to be fully legalized with this stuff. So I can as well. And I don't have to necessarily drive across the border to Virginia at this point, Roan. I feel like I'm so behind the times. Everybody else is wagering. They're going on Prize Picks. They're going on Underdog. They're doing everything. They're going on Jock Market even too. And I know I can use Jock Market, but still, when it comes to prop betting and stuff, man, I want fully in on this. And Maryland's moving slow as molasses.
Well, hopefully it picks up out here in Jersey. It's been legal for a while, so good thing I moved there.
Yeah. Speaking of crappy situations, JC wants to know who we should cut between Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore at this point. Tony's still not practicing.
I think at this point it's Toney, man. I hate to say it, and they are not putting him on IR. I mean, the guy never plays. He doesn't even practice. The first day of the week, he's not practicing. It's like, I've held on to him in one league because I have an IR spot, but the other leagues, I've had to cut him, man. Like, you have bye weeks, limited benches. Moore can obviously maybe move up on the offense a little bit, but I know there's great opportunity there for Toney. But at some point, okay, there's 2 bye weeks coming up with 6 teams on bye. Right now, Sky Moore's the guy you put in there, right? Toney's not active, so I want to say hold on to Toney, but I mean, I'm getting to the point where in a lot of leagues, you just can't at this point.
See, this is how I feel about Cam Akers too. But then watch what's going to happen. I'm going to drop him.
Well, Akers stinks anyway.
Yes.
Where's he going to go where he's going to do well? He's just
I'm trying to think
You're starting to see it now. Everyone was like, oh, look at these running backs coming back from the Achilles. James Robinson and Akers, they both don't look good now.
Yeah, that is true, actually. And I happen to have a few shares of both of them as well. So great fantasy season. Thank God basketball's here. You know what? We're not talking any more football on this show. We're done with football.
Metoid chair.
No, you know what? I asked our better boss.
No, I
Matt
know
Clay,
he's
about that.
cool with it.
Yeah,
I
no,
don't think
asked him. I was
I
like,
don't think
"Matt."
he would be like, you can completely cut out football for an hour.
No, he would
though.
never say that.
Okay.
He would completely cut me out of his life before he would have me cut out football completely from the shows. But I will say this: I asked him Fridays exclusively football days, and he said no. So we can do some hoops on Fridays for the large slate. We got another 12 gamer there too. So that's the thing. That's what's.
Is there only 2 tomorrow or 3?
Yeah, like 2 games, and that's it.
2, the 2 TNT games.
Yeah, and then that's it.
Going up against football.
Yeah,
we know how those Amazon Prime games have been.
Yeah, exactly. So you'll have.
I guess I'll have that game on, and then and we got baseball tomorrow too. Oh, that's gonna be tough. Only one baseball game tomorrow, though, right? Yeah, Yankees are probably 7:37 tomorrow. I'm assuming.
So what's going to lose your focus? Basketball? Probably, right?
Yeah, I'm going to have football. Yeah. I mean, it's playoff baseball, and I just love rooting against the Yankees, so I kind of have to watch that. It just brings me joy to root against them.
I've had people come up to me that have been watching the show over the last day or two and be like, man, Ronis really does hate the Yankees.
I do.
And I'm like, oh, he can't stand them. He hates this right now.
I do, and I have to deal with a lot of Yankee fans, so I just need them out, let them lose, so they can, say we need to get rid of Aaron Boone.
And Cashman is done.
Damn, the NBA, Milwaukee, Philly tomorrow, Clippers, Lakers. I mean, I could watch the end of the second game, but that could be a blowout.
Not even going to be a game. By the way, the Lakers win total I noticed on DraftKings was at 45.5. The under.
Oh, I would have taken the under. I mean, I did it last year. What?
Minus 125 at the time for the under 45.5.
They're not good.
Their roster stinks. They're starting Westbrook and Beverly. What are you doing? How stupid can you be? What does that do? It does nothing for your backcourt. Come on, Darvin. What are you stupid right there? Keep Westbrook on the bench. You don't need Westbrook, and no one's going to trade for him because he's like I said to Rick Camwell last night, he's a detriment to a team more than a contributor. He's Adam Ronis. I'm Justin Fensterman. Let's talk about what else pisses us off in sports. Since this whole show has been pretty much a rant, let's keep it going here on BSN.
The Playbook with Fenstein and Ronis is sponsored by Jock Market. Make real money every hour, every minute, every second of every game. Better Sports Live with Rick Kamla. That's 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific on Better Sports Network.
Andy Reid is the best current coach in the NFL. He's better than Belichick. Belichick has lost his way. He's better than Tomlin. He's better than Harbaugh. He's better than Shanahan. He's better than McCarthy down in Dallas. He's better than all of the gangster NFL coaches right now. Sean McDermott up in Buffalo, he's better than all these guys. Andy Reid is the greatest gangster that we have at head coach in the NFL right now. And I understand that you're saying, well, Belichick is the GOAT, Cam. How can that be true? Now you're bringing up old stuff. Bill Belichick can't draft anymore, okay? Talk to me. Nick Chubb, Sony Michel. Talk to me. DK Metcalf, Debo Samuel versus N'Keal Harry. Okay, talk to me. This dude has lost his way. Remember the year when he should have bottomed out and just tanked, but he couldn't, and he went and got Cam Newton, and they were a mediocre team, right? He's lost his way. And not that he can't coach up a good defense and that kind of thing, but overall, he's lost his way. Andy Reid's an absolute badass. They draft great. He's a great coach, makes the right decisions, when to go for it, when to kick, when to punt. The guy's the man.
The Playbook with Fenstein and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com.
I hate the stupid unsportsmanlike conduct. As long as you're not disrespectful to the opponent, you should be allowed to celebrate.
How I used to say it, and to bring up, because now basketball's starting, I'm going to bring up personal.
Oh, dude, it's even worse than basketball, isn't it?
So Dikembe Mutombo, who used to get teed up in the 2000s, in the 90s, they didn't give a crap. 2000s, though, when they tightened up the rules, they used to tee him up more when he did the Dikembe finger wag. But they wouldn't tee him up if he did it to the crowd instead of looking at, like, Eton Thomas, like one time I remember, and doing it right to him, or when his back was turned, doing it right to him. If he did it to the crowd, they would never call it. And so that makes me wonder if these players, while, they want to talk a little smack, maybe they should flex towards the crowd than at the player who they're standing over.
I guess.
I know it's soft, man.
It is soft.
Because you know what?
Like we're gonna give 15 yards for that,
bro. They think that, you want to know why they're paranoid? They think that's gonna turn into a fight.
See, I disagree with that. That's not going to start a fight.
I agree with you. They don't agree with us.
It's one thing, okay, if you spit in someone's face or say something derogatory, like about their family or something,
right.
Yeah, that can incite it. But if you're just like, yeah, I made that play, what? You know what I mean? Like, again, they know the rules. You got to know you're going to get flagged. You have to have discipline. But, like, I don't know. I have no problem with celebration as long as it's not disrespectful.
What's disrespectful? You know,
it's interpretation, and that's my problem. Watch, it's going to cost someone in a big playoff game, and that's when people are going to go crazy. There'll be a third down play. Someone makes a pass breakup, and they're in someone's face. They're going to throw a flag. It'll extend the drive. That team scores, wins the playoff game because of it. You need something drastic for it to really leave an imprint, and I hope that doesn't happen to my team.
Better Sports Network is betting, fantasy, collectibles. It's sports talk done better. The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis is sponsored by Jock Market.
I'm not mad. No! I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore. You see, whenever I get angry, I just recite this little poem, calms me down. 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3. What the heck is bothering me? You know, that really grinds my gears. I'm very angry. I'm feeling very angry about that. I'm really, I'm enraged. You know what I do when I'm mad, Paul? I hit a pillow. Just hit the pillow. See how you feel. Feel better? Yeah, I do.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com.
Time to get pissed because we haven't been pissed enough on the Playbook for this evening. Make sure you catch Better Sports Live coming up right after us with Rick Camel and Lisa Ann. Huge giveaway tonight, a Dennis Rodman autographed Bulls jersey. I'm so jealous of that. That frustrates me because I love Dennis Rodman. We talked about him last night. A lot of great giveaways on Better Sports Network here. But for now, Ron, let's talk about what's been frustrating us as of late besides my 1-5 SiriusXM host league team, which is just terrible. What's frustrating you, my man?
A couple baseball things. Number one, you saw today Juan Soto lose the ball in the sun. Why are we not calling this an error? And before anyone says he was given an error, he was given an error on the throw that allowed the runner to advance. I don't understand. I've seen it all year. Guys just losing balls in the sun or whatever it is, easy routine plays, and the ball drops in. And if they don't touch it, it's a hit. Why? We should be able to adjust. We already have decisions made by official scorers on certain balls, like ground balls. Well, okay, that was hit hard. It's a hit. Oh, he should have had it. Like, if it's a fly ball that is clearly an out, but the player loses it in the sun, shouldn't it be an error? So now the pitcher is getting hit with earned runs when he induced a routine fly ball. So I never understood that, and we have to change it. It shouldn't be, well, he touched the ball. That otherwise it's an error. Like, can we use common sense at some point? I mean, it's easy to see. You could poll 100 people on that play, Juan Soto. If he didn't lose it in the sun, would it have been caught? I know there's trolls out there, so maybe 99 out of 100 or 98. But if you're asking someone with their life on the line, hey, was that a ball that should have been caught, routine play? Everyone would say yes. So why can't we score an error? It should have been caught. I never understood that.
It's hard for me to determine what is an error versus what isn't an error as well when it comes to baseball. It's like if you think, like, for instance, he loses it in the sun, right? Did the ball make contact with him on the fly? I thought it bounced in front of him first.
It doesn't, but okay.
Right, and it might not matter, but that's part of my confusion with what's an error versus what's not an error. That's why I brought that up.
Well, on that fly ball, they will only score an error is if it touches your glove.
Right.
Which is stupid because, I mean, did you see the play?
I saw the end of it. I saw you react to it.
It's a routine out. It's a routine out. If the sun's not in his eyes, he catches it easily. So why are we scoring that a hit? It's not a hit.
Right.
Like, I don't understand. That's all common sense. There was one that was really bad. Well, there was multiple ones. I remember tweeting about it. I'm like, this is a joke. Like, this should have been scored an error. And now the pitcher is the one who gets penalized. And if you're playing DFS or a prop bet or the pitchers on your fantasy team, you're going to be pissed because a lot of times
It could have been the last out of the inning. He doesn't get hit with an error. 3 hits happen, 2 more runs scored. All these runs are earned. Like, it's not fair. So I just think we're supposed to advance in sports, and we've done replay and all these other things. Why can't we just, the official scorers, use common sense? I know common sense is lacking in this world, and a lot of people don't have it, but that's a play that 100 out of 100 times, it's a routine pop-up. He was going to catch it. He lost it in the sun. It's not like he had to run. It's not like he had to run 50 feet and then stood there. You know what I mean? It was right there. It should be an error.
Let me ask you this. So if let's say we have another situation like this that happens and he's slowly backpedaling, you could see that Soto has his eye on where the vicinity, but he's not quickly running back towards the wall. He's slowly backpedaling, and then he loses it in the sun. Does that still, to you, count as a routine fly ball if he's backpedaling and not just standing there moving maybe one step?
If he's under it and it looks like he's going to catch it, and then all of a sudden he ducks his head because of the sun,
right.
I mean, he was going to catch it, but the sun or the lights, that's what it was. I think there was a play in a game where the guy lost it in the lights.
That's happened
to me. I mean, again, it's a fly ball, a pop-up. If the guy's under it, it should be an out. I mean, you do it on an infield fly ball, right? Oh, the batter's automatically out.
I don't understand that, by the way. Why to prevent like cheapness from happening?
Yeah, someone
baseball,
letting it drop and then getting a double play. Like
Right.
they even use that in my softball league, and sometimes they get it wrong.
It's infield fly.
I mean, I get why they do that.
Yeah,
but I'm saying, like, in that situation, you're giving the automatic out. So if it's an automatic out in the outfield, why can't you just say, yeah, that's an error because he should have caught it? Again, it's most of these are self-explanatory. They're reasonable. It's like, okay, yeah, he should have caught that. But instead we're giving the guy a hit because the fielder didn't touch it. That makes no sense. I think we need to change that and use common sense because it does affect DFS, player props, fantasy. But even for the pitchers, I mean, I'm sure the pitchers like, yeah, give that guy an error. He should have caught it. It was a routine pop-up, routine fly ball. Why are we scoring it a hit? And then the other thing is the MLB playoff format. Obviously, I got into some conversations about it on Twitter, and I think people don't listen sometimes, or they don't read, and they want their own thing. Because there's people who are like, well, the baseball setup is great. You know, it allows upsets, and people want upsets. My problem with the setup, and I know it's not going to change due to TV. It's all TV and money. I hate allowing 2 extra teams in. I just hate it. Why are we playing 162 games and having 6 teams in each league get in? And, well, it's not like that. I don't care about other sports. And what other sports play 162 games? None, right? Okay.
None.
So if we're going to play that many games, right, we pretty much have a good idea of who the good teams are over 162 games, right? And now we have a 5 and a 6 in the NL playing for the NLC, an 89 and an 87 win team. So someone was like, well, the Braves won 88, 89. They won the division. I'm even in favor of getting rid of divisions and taking the top 4 records in the league because we do see bad divisions and teams. But the bottom line is, to me, the way I wanted the playoffs this year, I want 4 teams in, okay? 4 teams in, 1. So you have the 3 division winners, seed them 1 to 3, and then wild card gets 4. I'm even fine with putting, if you want to go strict records for the seeding, I'm cool with that. But if you want the divisions to mean something, so this year it should have been Dodgers, Mets, and Braves, Cardinals in a best of 7, not a best of 5. Why are we doing best of 5? And the reason they're doing it, I know they've been doing it recently in the division series, but they have to, now with the extra wild card 3-game series, they got to crunch everything together, which is why you don't see as many days off and no breaks because we're already going into November of the World Series. So to me, if you're going to play 162 games, 4 teams in each league. I know it's not going to happen because of TV and but I'm sorry, man. To me, it's ridiculous. And if it was the Mets who were in the Philly spot right now, I'd have the same opinion. This is not about the Mets getting screwed this year because I've talked about it in recent years. I just think this setup it sucks. I know in the AL it worked out. You had the top 2 teams get in. Great. But come on, man. Really? The Phillies were 14 games behind the Braves and the Mets this year. They finished 3rd place in their division, and they could potentially be the World Series representative. And people will say, well, it happens in all sports. It hardly ever happens in the NBA. We hardly ever get a 6, 7, or 8 in the finals. Yes, there's been instances, and usually it's some type of injury or something, right? But Doesn't happen often. You're going to see this a lot in baseball now. This is going to become commonplace. We just had it last year with the Braves winning 88, 89 games and winning the World Series because you get in a short series, you get hot pitching, your bullpen pitch is great. That's it. I mean, the Dodgers won 111 games, didn't even win a playoff game or win a playoff series. And you could say, well, their bullpen or whatever. But come on, man. Like, this setup is just absolutely ridiculous. And yeah, maybe the Mets benefited from it, maybe down the road. And I still will feel the same way. I just don't think it's fair when you're playing. What's the point of playing 162 games?
Yeah, I hear you on that, but there's one thing that I try to think about, and that's what about the small market teams?
Who cares? Do small market teams? These teams they're bagging money. Cleveland doesn't spend any money. They're bagging money. They TV contracts. They're making money before they even put a game on, man. Right. So all these people are crying poor. They're a bunch of crap. They're bagging money, man.
Do you think
and baseball? And everyone says that about baseball. How many different teams have won the World Series? We haven't had a repeat winner. It's Golden State every year in the NBA, right? NBA, it's the same teams. Golden State, Cleveland, when they had their run. You don't see it spread out in the NBA.
You're right. No, you're right about that. I guess also, though, for those teams, though, and you're right, we have had small market teams that have been able to come up, and you had the Royals a few years ago win the World Series. But
the Marlins have won 2 World Series.
So we talk about the sport of baseball and the general lack of interest that's caused all these rule changes in the sport and to try to speed up the games, whatever it takes to get more interest. I know how much you love baseball and you're passionate about it. Do you think, though, by having more teams make the playoffs, though, it does potentially increase that interest level in the sport?
But only in that certain city. I mean, outside of, do you think a lot of people care about Padres, Phillies right now? Unless you're betting on it, right? Nope. I'm saying, you know what I mean? Those aren't so that I don't think it really does much. I mean, yeah, the crowds for Seattle, who had made the playoffs in 20 plus years, and San Diego and Philly. I mean, the crowds have been amazing, but it's going to be like that in every city,
right?
Almost any city where a team has a team in the playoffs. It's just, you had 3 100 win teams in the NL. None of them are even in the NLCS. And I know, well, that's part of the sport. Those teams didn't do well, but it just doesn't sit right with me. And I know it's 1 year and maybe it doesn't happen. I just feel like you're playing 162 games and we got an 87 win team.
So you don't feel the same way in the other sports as the NBA and the NFL have expanded their playoffs. They play fewer games.
I don't like the NFL expanding either. I mean, we're going to get another garbage teams in there this year.
Yeah. I mean, look at the NBA. I mean, did you really want that? You really want to watch the Spurs last year? The Spurs and the Pelicans right there duking it out in the 7-10 tournament. I wasn't really in on that either.
I mean, the thing is the thing with that, none of those teams are ever going to win a championship.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I get why they do it.
1 8th seed in NBA history that went to the NBA Finals, and that was the 99 Knicks. And I will put this footnote in there. That was also a lockout shortened season.
Right.
They looked like
that's what I'm saying. And the Spurs made it as a 6th seed, right?
The Rockets made it and won the title in 95 as a 6th seed. Yes.
Right. And so, but it hardly ever happens.
Here's the interesting thing, bro. The Rockets, that Rockets team, the year before, they were the 2 seed. After Seattle got ousted, they became the favorites to come out of the West. They won the title in 94. And then in 95, it's almost like even after adding Clyde Drexler midseason, it's almost like the team regressed. The age started catching up to them. Then they got hot again once they got to the playoffs. They had a hard road, including going through Phoenix, who went up 3-1. In that series against them. They had a hard road, but they got back, and then they got fortunate that they faced an inexperienced Magic team. But yeah, the Rockets were a 6th seed when they won the title.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people will say, well, it's part of sports, the best team's not going to win, but I just think of baseball where you're playing 162 games. I just feel like it should be 4 teams in each league that are in.
So you liked it better from what it was back in the early 90s and before that, where there were just 2 divisions per league. And was there even a wild card, or was it just the 2 division winners play in the NLCS and the ALCS, and then there's your World Series?
I mean, look, again, I'm fine with 4 teams getting in, but in best of 7 series, not best of 5.
Okay. I was just going to say, I'm trying to think of which way you like best. So overall, just to sum up what you're frustrated.
Like I said, this year it would be 4 teams getting in.
Okay.
Dodgers, Mets, Cardinals, Braves,
best of 7. Winners face each other in NLCS best of 7 World Series. They're never gonna go back to it.
No.
They're only gonna expand. They're never gonna go back. So
I agree with that.
I understand what I'm saying is never gonna happen, but that's how it should be. I don't like this setup. I mean,
what was the point
I know Phillies fans
back
will
in the
love it
90s?
right now.
What was the point, Rome, back in the 90s? You would remember this before me. I was a little too young. When they expanded the divisions and they made it 3 divisions in a league instead of 2. What was their reasoning for that?
Well, I mean, it always usually comes down to TV and expand the playoffs, more money.
Right.
You know, plus you have more teams in contention towards the end. But like someone was trying to tell me, well, the Phillies earned their way in the playoffs. No, they didn't. They were 8-13 over the last 21 games and 4-8 over the last 12. They backed in. Yeah. If the Brewers played any better, Brewers might have got in. They didn't earn their way into the playoffs. And look what happened. You get in, it's a new season. Now all of a sudden they're red hot and they can ride it to the World Series. They were not one of the best teams this year. They had the 6th best record in the National League. I mean, come on, man.
Right.
I mean, again, they were 14 games behind the Braves and the Phillies. I mean, the Braves and the Mets. 14 games. That's significant in baseball. So
I just remembered this. I think the Giants, the football Giants, were the 6th seed when they won the Super Bowl against the Patriots.
But you don't see it as often.
No.
And again, the Giants had a really good defense and rode that. And look, it's okay. We're never going to have the 1 seed of the best team win every single year. But it seems like in baseball recently, I mean, I have to go back. Obviously, last year, the best team, the number 1 didn't win because it was the Braves.
And then it was the Dodgers the year before, right?
And that was the 2020 shortened season.
Right. 2019. I'm trying to remember who it was back then. It seemed like years ago already.
Was it the Astros?
Nationals. It was the Nationals.
Oh, yeah, the Nationals.
Nationals beat the Astros.
Right. Astros always there. They just don't win every
year. And then the year before that was the cheating year and everything for the Astros and everything. So, yeah, so I get why that pisses you off. I didn't like it when the NBA did it. They expanded to 3 divisions. I didn't like that as well. And I didn't like when they added the play-in tournament for the final couple of spots. I try to understand why they're doing it. Sports are just expanding their playoffs there.
Money, TV money, man. They want more playoff games on TV and generates more. That's all they care about. They don't care about, again, the NFL with their, we care about the safety of the players. No, you don't. You have Thursday night games. They have no time to rest, no time to install a game plan. You do not care about player safety. If you did, you wouldn't play Thursday night. Why do you play Thursday night? Money. Like I've told you, Justin, almost anything in life, it's unfortunate. It always comes down to money. 95% of things come down to money. They don't care about the players. If they did, they wouldn't play Thursday night. And we've seen that. What garbage product we're seeing this year on Thursday night. So I don't believe
like it when it first started back.
It always comes down to money for all these decisions.
That was what Thursday night football started probably at this point 15 years ago or so, 15, 18 years ago, maybe even close to 20 years ago now. I never liked it. I really don't. I think it's a misplaced day. Just leave it all for Sunday. I love the anticipation for Sunday and Thursday, just getting ready for it, especially in fantasy. It's
or
just
have 2 games Monday if you're going to do it.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I would love that, actually. I love when we have 2 Monday night football games the 1 week we get it a year. We
had a week 2 this year instead of week 1.
All right, let me talk about what I'm pissed about. And I cannot – and I'm sorry for anyone that's watching, that's listening, that might work for Yahoo or has a cousin or a family member that works for Yahoo. But Yahoo Fantasy has to change some of their BS moronic rule settings. Here's the latest one I walked into, Roan. For my home fantasy basketball auction, and you need to have everybody at the auction. I've talked about frustrations with this before. I had a team who was a co-manager who wasn't allowed to bid. He was the co-manager of the team because the guy who was, he was essentially filling in for the guy who signed up for the league because he couldn't make it to the auction. So we got his brother and we put him as co-manager to bid for him in his place and everything. The site wouldn't allow him as a co-manager to bid. I've never heard anything like this before, whether or not a co-manager can draft. What's the point of having a co-manager if they can't draft the damn team? It's asinine. So because of this, and because I'm a damn good commissioner and I didn't feel it was fair, and because the guy was being so nice where he couldn't bid, we couldn't track down the main guy and get his login information. And also the other thing was I wanted to make sure that he wasn't auto-auctioning, ruining the whole auction. So for the first maybe 10, 15 players, I was barely paying attention because I was trying to troubleshoot And I had to I don't know how I pulled this out of my hat. I had to re-invite him so that he became the main person of the team so that he could start bidding. And by the grace of God, that worked. That should not have to happen. What's the point of having a co-manager if they can't draft? I never have experienced anything like that before. And I get it. I'm playing on a free site. I understand that. But come on, man. You want to talk about stuff that's just stupid, moronic, idiotic, whatever you want to call it, awful. When you're a co-manager of a team, you should have full access to draft and you should have full access to bid if it is an auction. I cannot believe that the first part of my fantasy basketball auction, well, I don't want to say ruined, but I had to deal with that garbage for 20 minutes because of that, Roan. And it pissed me the hell off.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. They should have that ability. They're a co-manager, so why couldn't they do it? That makes no sense at all.
But if they were both logged in at the same time and you want one trumping the other, fine. That makes sense. So one is drafting. This guy was not logged in at all, though. And his brother was he logged in early. He did everything right. I always show up to my home leagues. I show up as soon as that draft room opens. I'm the first, if not the second person in that draft room, especially for my home league. But in this case, this guy, and I got to say, this fill-in, awesome fill-in, shows up early to make sure all the settings were right, that he knew what was going on, that he saw the auction room, no fault of his own. And then the auction started, and I noticed he got kicked out a couple of times, and I'm like, hey, just so you know, you're on auction. You just got Durant on auto auction. You know, what's going on? And he sends me a screen. He can't bid. He can't bid. I've never seen anything like that, Roan, ever.
Yeah, that definitely is a flaw, and I would hope that now that it's brought to their attention, if it hasn't before, that they fix that.
Yes, and anyone, by the way, that deals with Yahoo customer support, I thought about actually writing them an email myself. I don't know where that would have gotten me. It's gotten me nowhere in the past, but that's just awful right there. And there should be a disclaimer that says, hey, you're a co-manager. You need access somehow to the team if you want to draft or bid in an auction. Just so freaking stupid. Let's turn up the mood a little bit. We'll keep you updated. It's still 4-2. Phillies over the Padres here, the bottom of the fifth inning. I thought we'd be a little bit further along than we are. Bottom of the fifth inning with one out. We will talk about this 12-game NBA slate, who's in, who's out, and I'm going to tell you about one of the features we have on fantasyalarm.com that I provide a few times a week, and we're going to talk a little DFS here on Bettor Sports Network.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by fantasyalarm.com. Weekdays at 5 p.m. Eastern, sponsored by Jock Market. Stay in the game. The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis is sponsored by Jock Market. Make real money every hour, every minute, every second of every game.
For those that love the stock market, it's a very interesting way on how to include essentially fantasy sports and statistics when it comes to investing into players. We say it all the time that we have shares of players. Well, you legitimately buy shares when you download the Jock Market app. And when you buy shares of a player, like for instance, I'm seeing in the most recent one, Cooper Kupp, he's about $10.44 right now. If you wanted to buy a share, you buy a share of a player, and there's an IPO time frame that you buy the shares on the players on Sunday. You buy them at the IPO. Let's say you wanted 8 shares of Cooper Kupp, and you want to try to invest in the players, find the best values because players are at different dollar values. But what happens is those IPO values actually change. So where you're thinking you're getting in on maybe the ground floor, and I'm buying shares of Cooper Kupp, legit shares of Cooper Kupp that can end up paying about $25 a share back in return if Cooper Kupp is the top fantasy scorer. So it's legitimately the stock market, and then there's even trading involved. Ronis, I don't know if back when maybe you were in grade school, they had something in a business class about you just pretending to play the stock market, keeping track of the money. But this kind of reminds me of that because instead of fantasy shares, you're actually buying stock market shares against other users on the Jock Market app.
Yeah, definitely interesting and something that, you need to be sharp about and trying to find that value, but you know that other people are probably going to see the same thing you are. The price is going to go up. So that's the key here is getting it at the right price.
Let's take Justin Jefferson, for instance. You're not building a GPP lineup here. You're investing in the player. There's no lineups here. So someone like Justin Jefferson at 771, he's coming off of 2 monster performances going up against the Dolphins here. This could be another big matchup. That price, 771, I don't think is going to stay that way. So you can buy the shares. You can buy 5 or 6 shares at $7.71. But then you better be ready to get a notification that someone just upped the value on Justin Jefferson, and you have to decide whether or not you're reinvesting. So that is Jock Market. Download the Jock Market app to get involved. You love the stock market. I mean, who does at this point with how much it's been down in recent months? But you love playing the stock market. You love sports and football. Boom. This is how you do it.
We'd like to thank Jock Market for sponsoring the Playbook with Fensty and Ronis. Jock Market. Make real money every second of the game.
It's Zion. He goes quickly with it against Thompson. Fouled, counted, and won! Zion with the flex!
I'm feeling great. It was a rough year last year. It's been a long journey, like you said, but the Pels, my family, friends, they were all there with me. So to finally be able to see the fruits of that hard work pay off Wednesday, I'm excited.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com, sponsored by Jock Market. Stay in the game.
That sound from Zion Williamson, Pelicans TV network right there. Say, all the hard work and everything that he put in. Dude, the guy at that point, it was like looked like a mountain, just looked like a stump last year. Zion Williamson looked like he didn't work out for 6 months. So now let's not go too crazy with the heroic Zion here. You got back into fighting shape. Let's see you stay on the floor, though, before we anoint this guy the MVP and the bee's knees. Here's the thing, Roan, and I don't understand this. Everybody's talking about Zion Williamson. What about Luka freaking Doncic? Someone who really can win the MVP. Someone who is one of the most well-balanced players in the league, who's been able to stay healthy, who's made an immediate impact. Why are more people, I feel like, talking about Zion than Luka?
Why do you hate on Zion for?
Because I don't think he's proven much yet. I really don't. That's why. That's why. Because I'm not ready to call someone an MVP that really can't stay healthy yet. Maybe he will be, and then I'll look like the idiot.
Well, do you think his numbers he put up the last time he played were bad? He averaged 27 points a game.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be the same now with this roster. You think with now, don't they have more pieces now than they did back then?
They do.
I don't think he played once with CJ McCollum.
I'm trying to. I don't understand why you're hating on him though.
Because I'm not
22 years old.
Listen, I'm not hating on him, but I'm not ready to all of a sudden put the LeBron James crown on him.
No, I don't think
Kevin Durant's calling a 1 of 1. Come on, man. 1 of 1.
What do you care what Durant says? Why do you listen to what Kevin Durant says?
It's everything. It's everything, man. We read a lot of stuff. We read a lot of comments. Everyone's talking about Zion. I'm just wondering, why aren't we hearing about Luka more?
I mean, we are. Isn't he like one of the favorites to win the MVP? So
he is, but no one's talking about him.
Well, it depends who you're listening to. Again, with Zion, we haven't seen him healthy in a while, and now he's healthy and he's in good shape. People are excited. I don't see what's the problem with that.
Exciting is fine, but MVP level.
Okay, so why do you care? Let people lose their money if they're going to do that.
Because
why do you care?
And I want to protect people against.
Protect people from who?
Making a bad bet for Zion for MVP. I don't think it's happening.
If they feel that it's worth it, then let them do it.
I know, but they're going to lose.
Okay, well, let them learn then.
All right, then you'll all learn a lesson. He's not winning the MVP.
But here's the thing: Zion's not even in the top 8 of MVP. So, and Luka's the favorite.
No, I know Luka's the favorite. Just from what I'm seeing, again, I'm on social media all day long, and I'm being asked.
Well, maybe you should stop.
You know what? That's the best piece of advice that you've given me in a long time. I'll say that. Maybe I should. But wow. See, our producers, they're so nice to me. They like you, Roan, so much better than they like me.
Well, because I make better points. That's why. I'm more logical than you.
I had to make a logical point. What? That the Zion's not going to win the MVP? That's not because of what I said before. That's not logical.
Okay. First of all, I see someone in front of him who will not win the MVP.
Someone in front of Zion?
Yeah.
Who has better odds? All right, Padres tie it up. Let's go. Let's do this.
By the way, Ron, you wrote this in our chat here. I mean, we got the 4-4 tie, but what, Nola off of Nola, right? Before?
Yeah, big at bat. Kim was running on the play. Nola opposite field, right field. Kim scored on a single. Then the next batter got a hit. And then Profar. Oh no, that was
Soto,
that Soto
I think got a hit.
double?
Yeah.
Yeah, because Profar's Soto just got a double to tie it at 4. Now they have second and third, 1 out. This is big because they're hitting Nola this inning, and you want to get into that bullpen early on. So that's my concern with Philadelphia is their bullpen and their starting pitchers 3 and 4 versus this team. So look at that, Padres right back in it. But no, I know you're going to think I'm crazy for this, but to me, Williamson has a better shot to win MVP than Steph Curry. Curry's not going to play the amount of games. They're going to sit him. Look at the Golden State Warriors' depth on this team right now. They're more deep. They're not going to care about the regular season. Curry's not going to play enough games.
I hate when you say that, though.
Why?
It makes that the team just won't care about the regular season.
They care, but with this team now, I mean, okay, they talked about limiting the minutes. They didn't limit it for everyone. Curry only played 33. Clay was limited. He only played 20. Still hit his props. There's 15.5 points on his props, and he still went over it. Oh, no. Josh Palmer is in concussion protocol. Oh, damn it. I probably need him in a league or two this week. But, yeah, I mean, look, I think it's good for the sport that people are excited for Zion. I mean, it brings attention to the NBA, and I think the Pelicans are
for Zion. But I want to see it a little bit more.
But you know what it is? I understand that people are looking for long shots. Okay, Luka, Giannis, Embiid, Durant. Okay, they're Jokic's probably not going to get it again. I don't think they want to give it to a guy 3 years in a row, and now he's got Porter and Murray back.
It's happened before, though. Larry Bird won it 3 years in a row.
I don't think they're going to do it though this year. I think it's going to be really difficult. Okay, so Zion's plus 2,200 on DK, Kawhi's plus 2,500, LeBron's plus 2,500, Booker plus 3,000, Trey plus 3,500, Lillard plus 4,500. Do you see any of those guys having better chances? Kawhi, maybe?
No, I'm wondering. I don't think Lillard's ever going to get to that point. I don't.
I mean, the team's not good enough, I don't think, either.
Right. I'll tell you one thing, though. Someone that I do have, though, in my DFS NBA starting 5 on fantasyalarm.com, 5 players that you can look to start in DFS, and I'm looking for at least that 5x return on the scoring from the Portland Trailblazers. How about Josh Hart? Won't be scoring as much, obviously, with Simons healthy, with Lillard healthy, Jeremy Grant, a good acquisition by them. They haven't had a true 4 in a few years at least. But I'm still thinking because Josh Hart's going to be starting, he's an excellent defender, grabbed over 7 boards per game, will grab steals, just very feisty. He could do a little bit of everything. And being as cheap as he is for DFS, Roan, I'm still willing to go in, even though he's not going to be taking as many shots as he did last year.
I don't know because I didn't play DFS today. I don't look at salaries, but on a 12-game slate, Hart is a good value. What's his price?
Hart's price was at, I'm bringing it up now, it's at 5,800, I want to say. I have it written down right here. Hart's price on DraftKings is right here, 5,200 on DraftKings, 55 on FanDuel tonight.
I mean, I don't know because I'm not playing DFS tonight. So
right. Well, then I'm going to be the one to tell you it's a good player to put in your lineups, in GPPs especially, because again, you want people who do a little bit of everything. Defense, that keeps players on the court. The Blazers defense, their backcourt defense isn't going to be good. Their midcourt defense, that's going to be good with Grant and Hart. And that's where I feel like with Hart, he's going to be able to earn his keep. And I know that they just gave Nasir Little some more money, but he was still able to beat him out for the starting spot at the 3. And that's why I like him. Somebody else that I'm very excited about tonight is with no LaMelo Ball as expected, Terry Rozier. I mean, he's going to be looking, you can look at value for someone like a Kelly Oubre, but Terry Rozier is someone who's going to be totally on the ball and just somebody else hits threes, produces multiple categories, going to play a lot of minutes in a good matchup tonight. I mean, if you're looking at it, I mean, who's going to be able to stop Terry Rozier at this point in his matchup? Trey Jones? I mean, I like Terry Rozier in this matchup, Rome.
Yeah, no LaMelo Ball, so that helps in 2 bad teams.
Yes, I put Nikola Jokic for obvious reasons. He's going up against
Really?
UConn.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Well, you're shocked by that. A little bit of a hot
Very.
take.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting, though? People might try to talk themselves out of Jokic because, well, if they blow him out, maybe he plays 30 minutes. I don't give a crap. He's going to be he's a low 30s player when it comes to playing time. That's just who he is. And he's still, even with Jamal Murray back, likely going to be limited, at least for the first part of the season, meaning that Jokic is still going to bring up the ball, and that's going to save his assists a little bit, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, he'll be fine. He'll still put up numbers. And I think that line is like 7, but it is on the road. I know Utah's terrible and they're tanking, but it's first game of the season. So you could see some of these games that you think are blowouts be more competitive than you think.
Yeah, by the way, I saw this piece of note that just made me sick to my stomach. One of my favorite players coming into the year now might not start all of a sudden unless another note came out. Did you see that Alperen Sengun might not start now? It might be Bruno Fernando out there.
Yeah, he better start. Oh, wow. Here's some news. Miles Turner is out tonight. He hurt his ankle during warmups.
What? Real? You're not joking with
Why
me.
would I make that up about Miles Turner?
I know that's true. So you know what that means? I mean, you're Jackson and Jalen Smith. I love Jalen Smith, man. I'm very much looking forward to seeing him.
I drafted Isaiah Jackson in the Series 6 Host League. Did I get him in my home league too? I forgot. Maybe I did. I don't know.
In one of your leagues, you forgot you had Jason Tatum.
Yeah, dude, the draft was Saturday, and I'm like watching the game last night, and I'm like, I don't think I have anyone going tonight. Then I go to my team. I'm like, damn, I'm up 9-0. How? Oh, I got Jason Tatum. Awesome. Nice. He was my first round pick. At pick, what did I have? 7 or 8? I think 7. So
yes, you did have 7. You had 7. I had
Tatum 10 last night. Aaron Nola is out. Brad Hand is in with 2nd and 3rd and 2 outs, and Cronenworth up. So already into the Phillies bullpen here in the 5th.
Yes, you're great with the sports updates. You're killing it with the sports updates tonight.
Yeah, I mean that's maybe that's my new.
It's all that time hanging on Bettor Zone with all that. Do you do that? I mean, I don't tune in all 4 hours. I pop in once or twice a show, and I do for a few seconds. Sometimes I comment in the comments section, sometimes I don't. But when you're just on there, are you just, something like Corey could be talking and you just interrupt him and talk about a highlight that just happened or something?
Sometimes, but I tried not to anymore because I get in trouble.
You got talked to about that?
Yes. And plus I'm a little bit ahead, but what I do, if it's like a prop that I hit or a big Cowboys touchdown, sorry, I can't hold back. Yes,
I'm hearing from the producers of Bettor Sports Network that they have to rein you in because of that. So you're actually ahead of me on this baseball game. I thought I was ahead of you on Fox, but it seems like you have now taken the lead on the feed war between you and me.
Yeah, I had to call my company and say, hey, what's going on? Can't have Fensty ahead of me. Let's speed this up here. So
you were not happy about that a couple of weeks ago.
No.
That's what we're looking at, though, a 4-4 game, the bottom of the 5th. Other players that you could look at for tonight, and I'll just give it tonight. And in the future, I'll give you a few, and then you could go to the website, check it out. But some of the other players that I'm interested in, I want to see what the Spurs can do with the Charlotte front court. We don't have Miles Bridges there anymore. Their front court is essentially going to be P.J. Washington and Mason Plumlee, meaning I like Keldon Johnson's chances. But here's the funny thing I always forget about Keldon Johnson, Roan, that he's he plays the 4, but he's a small forward, man. This guy's like 6'5", 6'6", he's measuring at, but he's always been able to play bigger than his height. And against a weak Charlotte front court that, they got Mark Williams in the draft, and I was loving that pick. I thought it was a perfect marriage. They don't think he's fully ready just yet. So it makes me think that Keldon Johnson tonight will be able to have some success even driving the lane. Even with Pirtle on the other side, too, I'm liking Keldon Johnson. He's this team's number 1 scoring option with Murray gone.
Yeah, I mean, this is an interesting game, too. I mean, it's 2 really bad teams, but I think the Hornets are going to be bad early in the season, too.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at their win total a little bit. I want to put that confidence in them, but they still have issues to address. And unfortunately, they're kind of hampered down by the Gordon Hayward ridiculous big contract as well. I wonder if there's a prop out there. In how many games will Gordon Hayward suffers a 2-month injury? Because that 2-month injury is coming, Rome.
Yeah, I had him last year in fantasy and had to deal with it.
There was one year with Gordon Hayward, I believe it was 3-4 years ago, opening night, he broke his ankle, and that was it. He was going up for a dunk. I believe he was might have been against LeBron that night, and it might have been Boston versus Cleveland, and he went up, broke his ankle, that was it for him, and he's just someone that gets hurt a lot. Some of the other players, by the way, were going to be out tonight. So, Zach LaVine, always something with Zach LaVine's lower body. He's going to be out, might miss a couple of games. Keegan Murray, who I'm very excited about on Sacramento, I want to see what he can do, if he can help beef up their front court even more. He's going to be out, though he cleared COVID protocols there, so he's still not going to play tonight. No Alec Burks, no Gary Harris, no Seth Curry, Joe Harris. Quentin Grimes is going to be out as well. And as Ronis just talked about, no Miles Turner in what could have been a huge spot, because that Indiana team really doesn't have many options that they can go to. You're going to be seeing a lot of Tyrese Halliburton, a lot of shots from Tyrese Halliburton. You also got Buddy Hield, Chris Duarte there. The rookie that James Grande talked about, who I'm very pumped about, Benedict Maturin, is also there. And I think he's going to be great. I drafted him in a few leagues. Good off-the-bench scorer. They don't have much else when it comes to depth. But their front court, which is now Jackson, Isaiah Jackson, and Jalen Smith, I can't wait to see what Jalen Smith does. They better feed the guy in the post for this game. What game, Rowan, are you excited to watch tonight? We got 12 on this slate.
Pelicans, Nets. I guess Mavericks Sun, just because of what happened in the playoffs.
Yep.
And Knicks Grizzlies.
You're excited for that game? I think the Grizzlies are going to destroy them tonight.
Nah, they're not.
Ooh, okay. Well, tell me why.
The Grizzlies are not the same team they were last year, and no Jaren Jackson, no Brooks. I think you're going to see regression from them, and I think the Knicks are going to keep it competitive here. So I don't think the Knicks get crushed.
I'm very interested with the Knicks because the Knicks haven't had a skilled point guard like Jalen Brunson in a long time.
I did play his prop tonight. So over 22.5 points and assists. I just figure he's gonna play a lot of minutes. Should get the assist. He's gonna take a lot of shots first game. And the Grizzlies struggled defending point guards last year. So that was one prop that I've taken. There's not a lot. I don't know why, man. I just don't see a lot. I'm trying to look. I probably might play some in the later games. There's just not a lot.
What about are you seeing anything on Porzingis at all? Because now Porzingis with no turnaround, it's going to be even easier for him to destroy the interior tonight.
I did see his first basket prop is plus 450, but I usually don't play those. It was tweeted somewhere. I think DK was already. He's 18.5 points.
Oh, that's not bad.
And 7.5 rebounds. Yeah, I mean, he is healthy. I mean, Beal is back. Beal's kind of interesting. I was eyeing his props. I think he's 22.5 points and 5.5 assists. Yeah.
That team is pretty much 3.5 players right now. It's
Halliburton is definitely a guy. I was playing his props a lot. Oh,
yes, base hit Brandon Drury. Yes, here we go.
He had that home run before too.
Yes, 2-run score, 6-4 Padres. Let's go. Yes, I hate the Phillies. I'm a Mets fan.
We couldn't tell, you know.
Halliburton is someone, and I got to get this in if I'm going to do it in the next 13 minutes. Points scored 16.5. Wait, his rebounds is 3.5?
Who, Halliburton?
And his assist is 9.5. So maybe trying to think, do I do points and assist, rebounds and assist? Rebounds and assist is 13.5. Points and assist 25.5. I mean, we saw last year when he came over, he was tearing this up. And this should be a very high-scoring game. Let's see. What do I do here?
His assignment tonight will be the always talented, the always forever talented Monte Morris.
I think I got to go over with points and assists. I think that's what I'm going to do.
I like the points. I definitely like the points end of that.
I mean, look, his last few games last year, 17-10, 19-9, 21-5, 19-17. 30-2, 15-12, 25-13, and they were playing them 37 to 40 minutes. So what did I say? 25.5. Really, the points is better.
I like the point. Again, this is a dead team we're talking here. You know, it's Buddy Hield, him, and that's really your scoring right there. It's him, Buddy Hield, and maybe we'll see about Matter.
Total is 227. Should be, I think, a lot of points in this game.
No defense. especially with Turner not out there.
So wait, the rebounds and assists. His rebounds were all over the place last year. Oh, another base hit, make it 7-4.
Wow, Josh
Brad
Bell.
Hands getting hit.
Josh Bell didn't think that was going to be fair. He didn't run it first. He didn't run out of the box. Crazy. By the way, somebody else that's in my starting five tonight that I think is going to be good. I'm interested to see what the Pistons are going to do with their backcourt here, because from what I had heard, Ivy was going to be coming off the bench and leading the second unit. But now there's some shuffling going on because Alec Burks is out for this game. I still love Cade Cunningham against Orlando. Orlando sucked against guards, and they didn't really get anybody that's going to be able to be a better matchup for him. Cole Anthony, Suggs, he's going to be able to take advantage of that. Whether he's on or off the ball the majority of the game, I don't think matters. I think the price point's great, especially on DK with him being 7,000.
Jalen Green, but his prop is high. Remember, I was playing Jalen Green all last year.
I immediately thought back to that. That was your guy.
It's 22.5 for points, but it is. Let's see, what are his threes? My guess is 2.5 or 3.5. Remember, he was crushing his threes. He had a good preseason. I was able to draft him in the Sirius XM host league. Wow, 3.5 threes over plus 145 on DK.
Oof.
He was. It's just game one. I just worry if he come out rusty. Dude, okay, let me go to his. He was I was playing it like every game until they caught up. So his last few games last year, threes 4, 0, 4, 4, 6, 6, 6, 6, 5. And he was taking the game he had 0, he only took 3 threes. I don't know what happened that game. He played 37 minutes. He was 3 of 10. But the other games, 11, 10, 8, 14, 14, 15, 11, 10. I mean, he's just chucking from 3. That's plus money, man. I might have to do it. And you know what? And there's a 50% boost on a play tonight. I might take that and boost it 50%.
Wow.
I might do that. Why not? And try and get some nice plus money.
You hate boosts, though.
No, this is not a boost. This is a 50% boost. So it changes the juice.
Right.
So if you like a prop, maybe there's a prop you have minus 140, 50% boost, get the juice down. So, but now I'm taking one that's plus 135. I might do it, man. I mean, he had a great preseason. It's Atlanta. I don't think I have to worry about the minutes here with him, even in a blowout.
235 total for that game, by the way.
I mean, Atlanta's favored by 10. I mean, but I don't know.
Yeah, Atlanta, by the way, no Bogdan Bogdanovic to start at least the season. I don't know how Atlanta's backcourt's going to be on the defensive end now. That's what I'm wondering now that you've got Murray and Young there. I'm wondering if that's going to be able to help improve things a little bit for Atlanta. I'm excited for this Rockets team. I want to see what Smith does as part of this squad. I'm hoping at some point, and I know that they don't have Jay Sean Tate for tonight, but I'm hoping at some point we get to see a lineup that has Kevin Porter, Jalen Green, Tari Eason, who I love watching on the floor. Watched a lot.
Drafted him in our league.
Oh, dude, only a matter of time before he becomes something. Then you've got Jabari Smith, and then who knows what they're going to do at center. But I always thought that Sengun was set to start. We were told that once they got rid of Christian Wood, that this was his spot. Now, night of their first game, we're being told that it could be Bruno Fernando because he's been more impressive in preseason. Just shocking, because the last I saw Bruno Fernando, the guy can barely move. Is Sengun really that bad? I don't think so.
He better play a lot of minutes. I drafted him.
He went for a lot in my auction. Oh, man, dude. Josh Giddey, who didn't go until the second half of the auction, he went for like $20.
Here's one tonight, okay? Because I always play this guy's prop, but he was banged up. Gilgeous Alexander, man, points and assists. Do we play it, or is there a risk?
I have one issue with the assists. I mean, what's the number? Let's start.
Points and assists, 26.5.
You know what? I think the points, I think he could definitely get you there. And you want him to only have to get you 3 or 4. I'm worried that Giddey's going to be exclusively point guard. Yeah, Gilgeous Alexander will have his possessions that he brings it up. Giddey's
even last year with Giddey, though, he averaged 5.9 assists per game.
Right.
When he gets the minutes, he always crushes this.
Right.
That's the thing. You know, I mean, his last 3 games last year, 31-9, 26-4, 34-8, 32-5, 31-7, 8-8, where he shot 2 of 15. I remember that game because I played him that night and I lost that prop. I remember that. 33-14, 33-8, 33-7. I mean, he's cruised by this. He's fine though. I mean, I'm assuming because he's playing, but wasn't he hurt in the? Because I remember.
He actually wasn't supposed to start the season active.
Right.
In an MCL sprain. And all of a sudden, he magically healed quickly. He could be part of that Cam Akers, James Robinson. I thought he was going to be missing the first 2 weeks of the year. It's very shocking. But
yeah,
look, I'm telling you, he can get there via the points. And if you're in a position where he needs to get you 3 dimes, that's fine. But I'm still thinking that because he's more explosive than Giddey on the offensive end, that Giddey's going to be feeding him a lot, and Giddey's going to be running the point for this team for the most part.
Yeah,
it's not bad.
The injury concerns me though. Like, is he healthy? I mean, I know they're playing him, but I mean, that's low for what he did last year. I mean, he averaged 24.5 per game and 5.9 assists. And we saw when he was on the floor, he was taking 20 plus shots a game and playing 35 to 38 minutes. But that's why I go light on early in the season because, you don't know conditioning, where these guys are at. But yeah, there's 12 games. I want some action. I already got a couple, but
I got one for you. What about the Timberwolves bigs? The Thunder don't have anyone that could really stop them. Either one of them.
I would take the under on Towns' rebounds.
Towns' rebounding prop is at 9.5.
I would take the under.
Yeah, and then Gobert is at 13.5. The over's at plus 105.
Yeah, I mean, that was another prop I was playing a lot last year with Gobert. I mean, he just gets so many rebounds.
Yeah, I'm wondering if rebounds. What were you saying?
For what?
I was just saying I'm wondering what the points rebounds would be for them. I'm looking that up right
now. For Gobert?
For either one of them. I think both of them are in great spots tonight.
I worry about Towns getting their rebounds with Gobert there now and not as much under the basket.
Yeah, he'll get the
points and rebounds for Gobert is 27.5.
See, but I'm worried about
the
points
high.
On the Gobert side. Yeah,
that's high.
So we'll have to see how that goes tonight. Maybe, I mean, it's a great matchup. No Chet Holmgren this year. He's dealing with the Liz Frank. And so with that, their front court is essentially Jeremiah Robinson Earl, Darius Baisley at this point. It's not looking – and Pokuševski. That's pretty much what they're looking at for a front court right now, Rome, the Thunder going in.
Damn, I really want to play this Gilgeous-Alexander, man. But I'm just worried about, how is the knee? I'm assuming it's fine because they're playing him and we know they're tanking.
I'm not seeing any restrictions on him, at least from what I've seen. I'm not seeing – by the way, saw a report out, no restriction for Zion either. Some thought there might –
prop has risen. I think it was 18.5 earlier for points, and now I believe it's up to 20. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Yeah, and I'm going to look to see what his rebounds are. Zion, we'll have to wait and see. For those that are on the Durant boost, though, if there's anything to take away.
20.5 points for Zion. 22.5 on FanDuel. Whoa.
Wow.
His rebounds are 6.5.
He's got a tough assignment tonight. It's going to be Durant. He should still be able to get – I think should still be able to get a good amount of shots in there. But when it comes to that super boost with Durant at the over 20 points, I'm fine with it. I'm just not willing to say
– If it doesn't cash, I'm not coming here tomorrow. I can't. I'm going to just –
What if I don't want to come tomorrow?
You didn't bet it. I did. I'm tired of losing money.
Hey, I can still drive to Virginia in the next 3 minutes, okay? Come on.
Yeah, sure.
Seriously. He's Adam Ronis. I'm Justin Fenster. Rick Kamla coming up next for Better Sports Live, along with Lisa Ann, and they'll be giving away an autographed Dennis Rodman jersey in a little bit over an hour. You got to get in. You hit that call button when it's time, and you can be taking home an amazing piece of sports memorabilia. We thank our producers, The Resource, A.B. Adam Bernard, who does not like me. And then we also thank Jared Moore, the People's who doesn't like me even more than AB doesn't like me. But we thank all of you Better fans as well. Multi-Sport Madness, the playbook closing for the day. Everybody, good luck. Good luck with your bets. And watch some freaking NBA, okay? We know you're watching the baseball. NBA's back, baby. Get into win it. It is the playbook here on Better Sports Network.
This is Bettor Sports